Hey, what is up, everybody? Jason Steiner here, and I want to welcome you to our first of many here to come here at Movement Military, the SITREP. And I'm excited about my guest today. We'll talk a little bit about him in a minute, but what is the SITREP? The SITREP is just to give you some real world, real life things that are going on in our communities and how we serve military here at Movement Military. And through the home loan benefit, through our charity partners with the USO, the boot campaign, and some of our partners we have in our communities. So what we want to do is have conversations with guys that are boots on the ground in these communities that we serve to show how much we care about our military and their VA home loan benefit. And so today, my first guest of the show is my good friend, Joe Rodriguez. Joe, United States Marine. Kind of read you a little bit of his bio from his active duty time in the Marine Corps from 2011 to 2019. Served in the 3-6 Marines, was an instructor at the basic school and still serves as a reserve instructor at the basic school now. So still serving his country and serving his community all at the same time. So here we go. And my good friend Joe, live from sunny Florida. There's palm trees in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
fantastic. Oh, yeah, nice.
I'm a little jealous because Florida is one of my favorite places. So, but anyway.
No. It is a hot one today, and I appreciate it, Jason, for having me on here, man.
I know. I appreciate taking time out of your busy schedule and spending some time with us today. So let's talk about that. We talked about a little bit of the service time. So, I mean, you obviously serve your fellow veterans and service members through through your job now and using the VA home loan. And so talk a little bit about that. What got you into that and to where you are today here at Movement?
Yeah. So when I got off active duty, actually, I was doing government sales for a while. So that's what kind of introduced me into the sales industry, working with law enforcement and government agencies. As fun as it sounds, being able to sell that product, that it wasn't like I wasn't getting the fulfillment out of it that I, was looking for. And luckily I met my market leader, Travis Marchand, and, talked to him a lot about it. And he's like, hey man, if you really want to make an impact on individuals who are going through some stuff, whether that be, trying to buy their homes, he's like, you really need to kind of take the leap into the mortgage industry. And so I did pass my origination test and then immediately started. And just like any originator, just I'm the guy to do everything. You have anything, you send it to me. Right. And I was just miserable, like at the beginning, because I was answering phone calls all the time and nothing ever went anywhere. And it's like, okay, I need to focus on what I can relate to and what is important to me. And that was the veteran community, so that's where I started focusing on VA. I met you as well as a lot of great individuals at some of the VA events. And it's interesting because you don't think about it, but once you start helping veterans out and then you see the aftermath of how grateful they are, it reminds me of every single time I went through my VA loan and like, man, if I had a loan officer, like it's a whole different, side of the entire purchasing process, because I went through USAA, Navy Fed, and Veterans United when I did my VA loans when I was active duty, and they were miserable. And I was just like, oh, this is just, every single one was miserable. So it's like, this is just how it has to be. And then now that I'm doing it, it's like, no, it doesn't need to be that way. And then not only that, but being able to relate to your clients is probably the biggest thing, and that's honestly my biggest why is being there for them, making the connection, and having some good conversations with them as well.
Yeah. So, well, you mentioned Travis and Travis is a Navy vet, and they're in your market and was a very successful loan officer in his own right. And he's been instrumental here at Movement in kind of helping push this message forward and kind of taking you under his wing, so to speak, and helping you with that. And that's one of the great things I love about this company is that we're all rallied together, under that one common cause.
Yeah.
And for us, it's serving the military community. That's kind of what we do. And you'd mentioned your experience with Navy Fed and Veterans United, and those are legit personal experiences for you. So how do you relate those onto your clients when you're talking to them about those experiences?
So when I do mention it to them, my biggest thing with them is definitely, especially down here in Southwest Florida, is being local. A lot of the veterans I've started helping out are not necessarily tech savvy, so they need a little bit more TLC, whether that's meeting in person. I've also had veterans who are completely 100% disabled, confined to their bed, like couldn't get out of their own house. And I've made house calls, trying to help them out as well. Like, we've reached out to multiple lenders. We can't get anyone to help us because they all need us to come physically into the bank. And so that's where I come in. And so I use a lot of my experiences, not necessarily saying, hey, that was a horrible experience with Navy Fed. Hey, that was a horrible experience with Veterans United. I kind of try to pull off like, hey, when I did my first VA loans, these are the things I kind of, ran into, and I'm going to make sure you don't run into those issues as well. The biggest thing I didn't like with one of those first ones was, I continuously was told by my loan officer, like, hey, if you can get me these documents, we'll be set. And then I get them the documents. And then like 2 or 3 days later, hey, that didn't work. Let's get these documents. And it was like 2-3 weeks of just constant getting documents like, hey, it'll work. Nothing ever worked. So, that was my biggest things that I kind of set up front with my clients, where it's, hey, I'm not going to tell you to get anything. That's not going to help us out. So when I tell you to, trust me, you're going to want to get it to me.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of helped me form, the expectations up front. And I've learned that setting expectations up front is definitely going to make the process a lot smoother.
Yeah. So it's the as they refer to it in the military, it's the bluff method, right? It's bottom line up front. Tell me what you need and let's do this, because nobody wants to be chasing their tail, especially if you've got active military clients that are coming back from overseas assignments and PCS and their families all over the world. That's the last thing they want to do, is chasing documents around when they're trying to get kids and dogs and everything, all the stuff done. And I think that's so important about what we do here and setting those proper expectations. And one of the things that we always talk about, and I've had this conversation before, is through education, right? Not only educating ourselves, but bringing that education to our communities to help educate agents and dispel some of the myths and set the record straight. And I'm a big fan of what I call knowledge-based marketing. And you and I are going to have an event in Florida on May 16th. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to be hosting an event May 16th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Military Heritage Museum in Punta Gorda, Florida. It's a phenomenal museum. The museum is actually going to be closed that day because we are going to be renting out their entire auditorium. So, we're inviting all of our partners to come in, agents in the area. If you have anything to do with the veteran community or the home buying experience, you are definitely welcome to this event to kind of get some information, some knowledge, and some free food and an experience out of it. You get to check out, one, the museum, just kind of walk around and see what it looks like. And two, just have network with people. That's the biggest one, is creating a networking group to where they understand more up front. Because the biggest thing I get with agents a lot of times is, hey man, I got a veteran, don't know if they qualify or not, don't know what you need, here they are. And it's like, oh man, you can have a better conversation with them to get them excited, because they don't, and I've learned that a lot. Like, a lot of the veterans aren't excited, to utilize their VA eligibility. A lot of times that excitement doesn't come until my initial conversation with them, where I start boosting the VA program. And then that's what gets them excited. I'm like, hey, are you still thinking about going conventional like you said at the beginning? They're like, oh, absolutely not. Let's go VA. But if they can have that conversation up front, it's definitely going to be a lot better for them, their relationship with that client as well. So
well, our biggest concern is their experience.
Yes.
Right? We want them to have a positive experience and be able to tell people, obviously, guys like yourself, you guys earn that right, and to have that experience. I mean, every home buyer deserves a good experience, but selfishly, we want our military veterans and active duty military to make sure that they have a great experience, because you'll always hear us refer to this as a benefit, right? It's not just a loan program, and it's a benefit that you guys earn through blood, sweat, tears, months and months and years, away from family members and all kinds of things that you ever knew, to serve this country. And we want to make sure that we as a community, and that includes anybody, like you said, who has anything to do with the home buying experience or just networking with military and with veterans through nonprofits, through veteran business owners, anybody that we can bring in to just rally around this, because what we're going to be talking about, and what and I'm going to be the one down there with Joe, leading this charge with this educational movement. And what we're going to talk about is, the myths and misconceptions. We're going to talk about how to win, right? That's a hard thing for VA clients in this market to win.
Yeah.
And so mostly, this is just, all things being equal, mostly it's due to ignorance to the program itself. So we're going to be talking about all those things to better arm you with the knowledge to go out in your community and serve them at a higher level, because honestly, they earned it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's, one of the biggest things that I, every time I have a veteran client or any client in general that puts in an offer, my first thing to do is I call the listing agent. And the first thing I ask them, especially on VA, is, do you have any concerns with the VA home loan? And typically that's when it all comes out. And you can hear that, you can hear they're a little nervous or uneasy at the beginning of the conversation. And then at the end of the conversation, they're just like overwhelmed with the amount of, information they were just provided, and the fact that, they had a lot of misinformation from people that, may have had bad experience years and years and years and years ago before the VA program was, redeveloped to what it is today, So no, it's that education is definitely needed, especially before contracts are starting to get thrown out at people. So
yeah, 100%. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to have fun. Moreover, we're going to have, this venue, I've checked it out online. It's really cool. So if nothing else, come to the venue. Whatever gets you there, if it's free food or just, my dashing good looks or whatever that is, whatever. But it's going to be, again, May 16th from 10 to 1. What we're going to do is we're going to post the Eventbrite link in this so people can go on and register. You can obviously reach out to Joe. We'll have his information. You can reach out to me if you need any extra information on that or want to talk about that, because we are here to help you with the VA home buying process. So if you have questions on that, let us know. But Joe, man, thanks for your time today, buddy. I know you're busy, so I want to keep this short and let you get back about your day. But man, I'm excited about this. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm glad you're leading the charge there in Florida.
No, absolutely, man, and I appreciate it, Jason. You taking your time to sit down with me and definitely come down here from Texas and help us with this. I appreciate it, man.
Looking forward to it, buddy. All right, folks. If you guys need anything, let us know. Joe and I are here at your disposal as anything that relates to the VA home loan or connecting veterans in our communities. And we'll see you guys next time.